Welcome to Tea and Tarot with me, your host, Yashna. Each week I'll share what I've learned as I dive deeper into the world of tarot. I've got my cards in front of me, my cup of tea, and I can't wait to share this journey with you. This is Tea and Tarot.
Hello and welcome to Tea and Tarot with me, Yashna. This week we are breaking down the last of the major Arcana cards, which is so exciting and crazy. I can't believe we made it this far. I'll be honest, there were times when I wondered if I wanted to keep doing these episodes, keep doing this podcast, but it's been really fun, and I am planning to continue this through the minor arcana at the very least and complete the deck. But it is so exciting and such a huge milestone to have hit this point and to be sharing the breakdown for Major Arcana number 21, the World. This is one of the most positive cards in the deck and usually represents success and completion, which is so fitting given this is a pretty big success to make it this far. To wrap the Major Arcana, I've got my usual cup of matcha. And yeah, let's just jump into it and break this down. There are two distinct versions of the World in tarot decks, one in older Renaissance decks, and then another version of it in later decks from the 17 and 1800s, which have influenced more modern representations of the World, such as in the Rider-Waite deck. In the Visconti Sforza deck, two male cherubs hold a painting of an idealized city on an island containing a twinkling sky and stars, a paradise. In 17th and 18th century decks, there is a dancer enclosed in a wreath with 4 evangelists in each corner. She is the world dancer and shows the belief that the world itself has a soul. Both styles are connected by their concept of enclosure and an idealized representation of the world, symbolizing completion and a return to the beginning. So, looking at the Rider-Waite deck more, similar to the 17th and 18th century decks, the Rider-Waite deck shows a figure dancing in the center of a wreath, the figure who is now the evolved and completed version of the Fool from the first Major Arcana card. She is protected by the 4 figures from the Wheel card, who represent the 4 evangelists from the Gospel, and also connect to the 4 elements. The laurel garland symbolizes victory, and the oval shape signifies heaven on earth, and is typically used to frame holy figures. The garland's ribbons are tied at the top and the bottom of the wreath in a figure 8, symbolizing infinity and the never-ending cycles of time and rhythms of nature. The world dancer shows joy and celebration. The wands in her hands symbolize the perfect balance of opposites, complete self-expression, and the ability to make magic happen. So from there, let's jump into the Light Seers deck. As usual, I am going to start by reading the world story from the Tarot for Light Seers guidebook. The world steps into her Ouroboros ring, ready to celebrate her achievements. As she steps up, the ring begins to ascend. Light shines down from above and floods her senses with the soft hum of her illuminations. Success, completion, you did it. It carries her higher, and she feels her whole body begin to vibrate with this upgrade of consciousness. She senses the union of her spiritual and earthly selves, and her reality shifts as her inner spiritual landscape merges with her outer reality. She remembers that moment when long ago she first stepped off the edge of the cliff and into the Fool card, falling right into the sacred geometric lesson with all of her innocence in tow. Back then, she had no idea how to stay afloat. Now, inside of that very same sacred geometric ring, she climbs effortlessly. She has mastered this level of awareness, and her experiences have become an integral part of who she is. She holds the rings lovingly. In them, she senses a support system, a teacher, a mentor, a friend, as all of the wisdom she has gained on her journey abides within them. She learned, she tried, she fell, she stood up again, and now she has finally arrived. Celebrating this joyous moment, every cell falls into resonance with the universe around it. And she rises. She knows that the end of one cycle signifies the beginning of another, and it fills her heart with joy to know that she will jump back into the position of the Fool and begin a new journey soon. But for now, the sweetness of success awaits, and it's time to celebrate this win. Looking at the symbols in the card, just looking at the card in general first, there's a woman inside of a circle. She is wearing a rainbow dress, which represents light, joy, success, and her chakras aligned. She's taking a step forward as if she's taking a step into a new journey. She is in the middle of an Ouroboros wreath, which is circular. It represents continuous change in cycles, victory, completion, the end of one journey and the start of another. Around her are different symbols. They are sacred geometric platonic solids, replacing 4 symbols of fixed zodiac. So in the top left, there is octohedron, which represents air. The top right is icosahedron, which is water. Bottom left is hexahedron, or the cube, for earth. And bottom right is tetrahedron for fire. The rune around her inside of the wreath is the seed of life. It is a sacred geometry related to creation and the genesis of life. There are 7 circles for 7 days, 7 chakras, 7 major notes, 7 metals in alchemy, etc. It just represents the magical number that is 7. And it is the same symbol that is seen in the Fool card. So it's really showing the connection between the world at the end of the journey and taking that next step to becoming the Fool again as you start a new one. The general meaning from the Light Seers guidebook is the sweetness of completion reminds us that it's time to be the Fool once more. The optimistic meaning from the book is, I accept this gift of completion and I ascend to new levels of awareness and wholeness. I am love. The general meaning from the Rider-Waite deck is, enjoy your success. So looking at the meanings of the cards, in the forward Light Seer position, this card is all about completion, joy, wholeness, achievement, happy endings, abundance, success, new levels of consciousness, finishing a large project, goals met, and literally traveling the world. In the reverse Shadow Seer, it represents taking shortcuts, a need for closure, a need to follow through, staying focused in order to complete an unfinished task, a delay in plans, and unmet dreams. Before I talk about how this is used in different readings and how those kind of apply, I am going to read the world's message from the Tarot for Light Seers guidebook. The world brings one of the most positive and abundant messages in the tarot. Congratulations, sweet seer, you've come so far. A large project or a period in your life is coming to a successful conclusion, and it's time to revel in the sweet afterglow of your success. Feel into all the feels because it's time for fruition and abundance. If you're not quite there yet, take this card as a sign that you're on the right path. You are close. If you're feeling a sense of lack around any part of your successful journey, consciously let go of the little imperfections. They too are a part of you. And they are beautiful. As you reach the stage of fruition, remain focused. Don't slacken your resolve as you glimpse the magic at the end of the long journey, because the journey that you put into the endings is just as important as the energy of beginnings. It's time to follow through. If there is something that you've left unfinished, move ahead with determination and conviction, and take your final steps and complete the cycle. You've got the world at your fingertips ready to help you. If your dreams are not being met, perhaps there are some steps along the way that you have missed. Check in with your original intention and smile with a happy heart, because even in shadow, the world is a positive card that signals bliss and happy endings. You've got oodles of positive energy and joy on the way. That's the world. So, like I said, it's really a positive card. So when it comes in a love and relationship reading, you've likely reached a goal you've aspired to and feel whole in your whole relationship. Take this moment to appreciate all you've overcome and celebrate where you are now. In the reverse position, it can mean things have been stagnant and you need to bring an end to things but have been putting it off for a while. So kind of a turn from the forward positive side. It's really about making sure that you're not delaying things too much. For money and career reading, again, this card's a huge indicator of success in completing the journey that you've been on till now. You may have accomplished some career goals and aspirations you've had for a while, or it could indicate that success and completeness is coming your way soon. In the reverse, similar to before, it could mean you've been delaying things or haven't really been able to follow through on what you need to do, and you should reevaluate what gaps exist to help push through to completion. For a health reading, it's a great indicator of overcoming whatever you've been struggling with and feeling fully recovered. In the reverse, it can mean your current treatment plan may not be working and you should try something new. For a spirituality reading, this could indicate completing the journey you've been on till now and finding wholeness through the final lessons you've learned along the way. And in the reverse, it can mean that you've been on the wrong path and it's time to reevaluate your approach and maybe try to restart your journey. And that's pretty much a wrap on all the content I have from the world and from this episode. What's important to remember as we're closing out the world is that the cycle of growth resets after you reach the world. So when you pull this card in a reading or when you feel like you personally have reached this level, it doesn't mean your journey's ended. It just means that you have completed this chapter and are ready to now start a new journey and begin a new chapter of your life. You go back to the Fool and you kind of restart the cycle again. It's been so much fun breaking down these major arcana cards, and I will be continuing with the minor arcana cards. But in between, I'll have a couple lighter episodes first to reflect back on the major arcana and maybe add a filler episode or two in there. But I'm so excited to be wrapping up this section, and please stay tuned as we jump into the minor arcana next, talk about what all those different suits mean, what all the different numbers mean. There's so many layers to those cards too, and I'm so excited to break those down. So stay tuned. I'm going to take a short break, and then I will be back to do the world reading from the Tarot for Light Seers guidebook called Joyful Completion Spread. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. I am doing the Joyful Completion Spread from the Tarot for Light Seers guidebook. For this spread, I have the World out since that will be used as the first card in the placement here, and I will need to draw 2 more cards, so I'm going to do a quick shuffle on this deck. This spread is really about kind of figuring out where you are on your world completion cycle. So there's 3 cards total. The first one is the World to help channel the energy of figuring out where you are in your cycle of completion. And then the other 2 will be for what you've achieved till now and what comes next. So it's kind of a nice little like past and future snippet. So I have my deck shuffled. I only need 2 cards for it. So the top one will be the first, and I'm going to split this once to get my second card. I should swap this order. So I have World in the middle already. For the second card of Achieved, I have drawn the 8 of Cups. And for the third card of To Be Conceived, I have the 2 of Cups in reverse. Oh my gosh. I wasn't even thinking about relationships for this one, but Cups are a big relationship card, and I can already kind of see where this one's going to go. So I'm going to say that this is probably a little bit of a relationship spread and where I'm at now versus what comes next in my journey. And oh my, okay, I'm going to go look at the cards' meanings really quickly and then share how this breaks down. Okay, kind of what I suspected as I pulled these cards the first time, but the 8 of Cups is about letting go of stuck energy. It's about walking away from this old past self that might have felt some trauma, might have felt some hurt and pain, but you're letting go of that and you're kind of creating a new self for you. So with achieved and the question of what lessons must I remember about the success I am achieving, I think I have walked away from a lot of like past relationships that haven't worked well for me, things that have kind of hurt me and held me back or maybe didn't allow me to be my best self. And I've definitely come a long way since then and am in a much better headspace now. But as that connects to what comes next and where to for the Two of Cups in reverse, the Two of Cups is actually a very romantic card and really symbolizes a strong partnership and relationship. But in the reverse, it can mean that you are not open to receiving love. It could really indicate some emotional blocks or disharmony in your life. And I think the message that comes from it is that maybe you're not putting in the work you need to, that you need to make conscious choices about your relationships or to step into a new relationship. So the way I kind of read the spread is the Eight of Cups is all about walking away from stagnant energy, which I've done. I've let go of a lot of my past and I've created this new clean slate for myself, which has been very great. But the Two of Cups is telling me, in reverse, it's telling me that now I really have to make some conscious efforts in order to open myself to a new relationship, to make sure that I am really creating an open, like receptive space for love, for new relationships, for whatever is coming my way in new partnerships. Because right now that energy is blocked and I am not as receptive to it. And I would say that's pretty accurate. Like right now I think I'm content with where I'm at right now, but in order to take that next step, I would have to make that conscious effort and I will have to open myself up to it properly. And I think that's a really great message. So the spread makes sense in terms of where I am in my current cycle of completion. I've really achieved being able to let go of my old stuck energy and to create this new space for myself. But now to move forward, I just need to make that effort and really put some time and energy into new partnerships and relationships if that's what I'm ready for, which maybe I am. Who knows? But that is the joyful completion spread, and that really wraps up the world. Like I said before, I'll do a couple little episodes, or not little, but a couple reflection, summarization episodes before I jump into the minor arcana. But I am very excited to start talking about the rest of the cards. There's these 22 cards were so much fun to break down and there was so much to talk about with these, but there is still so many other cards in the deck. So I am very excited to continue this journey. Stay tuned and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to Tea and Tarot with Yashna. This episode was produced, hosted, and edited by me, Yashna Bensel, and brought to you by Tea Time Podcasts. The tarot reading was done using the Light Seers deck by Chris Ann, and all card visuals were from the Light Seers deck and the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. Research was done using Wikipedia, The Ultimate Guide to Tarot by Liz Dean, Tarot for Light Seers by Chris Ann, and many, many Google searches. Music was made using SoundRaw. Join me next week for another episode of Tea and Tarot.